Tall men live here, and for history and mystery lovers, such a place is simply paradise. The mysterious island of the Republic of Palau. Greetings. Today, we will talk about the picturesque and at the same time, mysterious island of the Republic of Palau. More precisely, we will tell you about the whole archipelago and the locals who live here. It is true that there are separate pyramids built in this place with human remains on top of one of them. What is the spirit gun, or sumpitan, which the natives borrowed from the Indonesians? And whether Palau is really inhabited by men up to 2 meters tall and weighing over 100 kilos. Be sure to watch the video to the very end so as not to miss anything important and interesting. History of the Republic of Palau. Most likely you first heard about such a state, which is located in the Pacific Ocean. The territory of the Republic of Palau is a group of islands, archipelago, belonging to Oceania. It is also where the border with Micronesia is located. The history of Palau dates back to about the middle of the 2nd millennium BC. It was during this period that the inhabitants of the islands of Southeast Asia settled. And already in the 17th century, with the traditions and culture of the Palauans, got acquainted with Europeans. These are Spanish travelers, as well as the well-known Mikluko Maclay, who later visited the islands twice. The Spaniards at that moment paid special attention to the picturesque view of the new land. Can you imagine that whole pyramids were built on the territory of the present Republic of Palau? Such structures have an unofficial name: green. Only here, researchers and scientists still do not understand for what purpose these pyramids were erected. But they managed to calculate the date of construction, the 500th year BC. So it is quite probable that other tribes or nationalities lived here. The only version of the purpose of green pyramids is something like a terrace intended for cultivation of various plants. The only confusing thing is the fact that the remains of several people were found on one of the structures. Ritual burial? Perhaps it remains only to work out this version. We also draw your attention to the fact that on the islands of the Republic of Palau, there is a lot of military equipment from the Second World War. Mostly, these are airplanes and ships, which can be found in tropical forests as well as under the waters of the Pacific Ocean. The reason for such finds is very simple. In the 40s of the 20th century, the Japanese army held the defense on the islands. So, if you suddenly love historical artifacts and mysteries of the past, be sure to take a note, especially since divers specially come here to survey the mysterious places that never cease to amaze many. Culture and traditions of the locals. So, we came to the most important thing. Let's consider the peculiarities of life of the population of the Republic of Palau, and at the same time, let's understand what traditions and culture are here. To begin with, the islanders are called not only Palauans, but also Belauans. Plus, there is another group of natives, Filipinos. All of them speak the Palauan language, but there are also those who are fluent in English, especially since the latter is often spoken by foreigners as tourists. The total population of the islanders is about 20,000 people. As for religion, Catholicism and Protestantism are widespread in the Republic of Palau, and in general here adhere to paganism, because the culture of religion was formed since ancient times. Then Palauans were under the influence of Japanese inhabitants for a long time, which reflected on future views. Palauans are mostly agriculturalists. They grow vegetables, fruits, fish, and hunt wild animals. Along with all this, the Palauan culture includes crafts, pottery, and wood carving. To move from one point to another, they use special boats with balancers, which the islanders build for everyday needs. But the Palauans borrowed a wind gun from the inhabitants of Indonesia. This item is also called sumpitan. The design of this weapon is quite simple: a hollow tube with a small projectile in the form of a dart. To hit the target, it is enough to blow out the air, which just disperses the projectile. Most likely many of you have seen the sumpitan in the movies. You will be surprised, but the inhabitants of Palau do not have their own army. There are no political parties either. As for the political system, the islanders have only a bicameral parliament. Before the election of a candidate, you can see banners with an inscription calling for the re-election of this or that person. Aborigines also often dance and sing songs. This tradition has been going on for many years. Actually, dancing and singing are quite common in the Pacific Islands. The people of the Republic of Palau are by nature very friendly and sociable people. They gladly welcome guests and receive them as if they were at home. By the way, there is one important detail. you know firsthand that travelers after visiting a country are sure to take away souvenirs. They serve as a reminder of a wonderful time spent. But for souvenirs from Palau, an export permit is required. Otherwise, the valuable item will be confiscated and a decent fine will be issued. So keep this in mind. Among the souvenirs, most valued items of coral or turtle bone. Tall and strong men. It is also important that representatives of the male population of the Republic of Palau are really tall and physically developed people. To give you an idea, the height of Palauan men reaches the mark of 2 meters and weight up to 130 kilos. Such anthropometric data is due to genetics and physical activity along with a healthy diet. After all, as you already know, the islanders spend most of their time on agricultural work and eat natural products. Of course, such a tall and physically developed man is able to fight back any ill-wisher and protect his family. Again, the islanders of the Republic of Palau are quite peaceful people. Therefore, there are no clashes and disagreements here. Let us explain a little more about family and marriage. The so-called matrilineal kin, also called blai, is an integral part of social relations. It, in turn, is united into a community called plu. Marriage unions between men and women are mostly of the dislocal type. Avunculate is also practiced, which dates back to the formative period of the Palauan people. The Palauans have 2 main unions, male and female. Previously, an aristocratic nobility with a special attribute stood out. She carried an order of bone, an object made up of dugong bone. Over time, values have changed. Along with the male population, women in the Republic of Palau also have a high social status. Over the centuries, many villages were built on the Pacific Islands. Each village was inhabited by 7 to 10 clans, and the villages were organized into districts of up to 14 clans. Special meeting houses were provided to facilitate and make responsible decisions. Conclusion. Thus, the island state of Palau is a picturesque and mesmerizing place on our planet. The islands are ideal not only for recreation, but also for research purposes. The most important thing is that the people living in these parts are really friendly and sociable. Tourists and travelers can completely trust them.